Hello YouTube, welcome to the channel. If it's your first time, hello again if you've been on the channel before. If you've been on the channel before, you'll notice that I don't really do tutorial videos or anything like that, but I searched frantically to find any advice on YouTube when I was trying to put this up, and big shouts out to Everyday Man. His video certainly helped, and he's got some really good tips and tricks on there. Some I should have listened to a little bit more closely, others I've kind of learnt myself, but yeah, I'm going to take you through this. This is the Intex 24x12 XTR swimming pool. Some of the bits and tricks I've learnt. First one, if you can, we were limited for space. Try not to put it under a tree, especially not a cherry tree, because after we've cleaned out all the blossom, we get all this stuff as well. And this is just from today, actually. You can see it all on the liner. But it's not too much of a problem. I'll show you the setup. We can deal with that easily. That's the first tip. Second tip, make sure it's on level ground, guys, because this was about six inches out this end. We tried to prop it up with some of these plates, some of these wooden scaffolding planks that we've cut up. In fact, I'd recommend you put them under all the feet anyway, especially if you're on sand like we were, or we are. We sunk this side, which resulted in a horrible mess. You can see it's actually quite straight. I'm really impressed, because it spent the whole year last year looking like a horrible mess, and all this side was all like this and up and down, and it wasn't very pretty at all. So so tip number 2, as Everyday Man suggests, make sure it's level. We're probably half an inch out now, but yeah, that's the most important thing, because that really does make a difference to the pool. You can see I've got my ladders up. I've already explained the tree, so we've got the vacuum in there doing its thing at the moment. We'll come across to that in a second, but that's why the feet are up, or the ladders kind of tipped up, because it does get caught around there when it's doing its thing. Right, second, third tip. Yeah, first one, don't do it. Oh, do it level. Don't do it under a tree. Have a look at Everyday Man's video and see where he's put this, because his is right up here, which is where I should have been. You can see we've just about got, well, we haven't, because it's rained. We did have a little gap here that was working. Oops, sorry, a little gap here that was working quite well. I have got one of the Intex skimmers that you put over on the side. It just attaches into the filter over that side, the outlet over that side, and yeah, when it's full right up, we just use that. But this is doing its job here. Do get one of these. Follow Everyday Man's instructions on how to put this in, because we had a nightmare. We didn't let enough water out. We nearly split, I'm not even going to go into it. We nearly split the whole thing. You can see that last year there were a couple of drips that have kind of, the salts gone into there. Not this year though. We managed to sort all that out when we took it all down to do it again. We've got a heater over there. So yeah, this goes with a valve here across to, I'll show you all that in a second actually. The lights, brilliant again, Everyday Man. Probably paid far too much for this one. This is the one with the light on both sides. There we go, light that side. And it does the multicolour lights inside if you turn it on. There we go. There we are. I've got 2 actually, and I'll show you the other one. And the reason being is the first one that the first one that I bought, which again I paid too much for, came, and it's just the white one actually. There's no buttons on it, so you have to switch it on by the mains, and there's no light on the back, so it's just one colour, it's just white. And I wanted the other one, so I paid too much for the second one again. Right, here's the back. Here we go. So I'll walk you through what we've got, and as I say, the vacuum's in there at the moment. So we've got the inlet valve here, which, as I say, did have a skimmer on when the water was really high, just to take some of the blossom off the top, which then runs here over to this T-pipe here, which is coming off the skimmer there. So you've got the valve there and the valve there if I want to shut this off, and this then follows into my pump, and we've got it running on filter pump at the moment. You'll notice it's not the same pump for the there's a bit of a gap there for the sand filter. I'll tell you about that in a second. We've got Chlorinator here, which is just turned up today. There's an electric box underneath that then follows in to another Chlorinator, and we'll tell you about why we've got that as well. Out into the outlet, which which goes through the bypass, into the heater, back out, and then we've got a split here because I've got some fancy water, which has got fancy lights in actually, and then the other one goes off obviously to the inlet over here, which has got the hoover connected somewhere in there. Here it comes. These are brilliant. This hoover really is. Honestly, you just leave it in there, off it goes and does its thing. Excellent. And then, as Everyday Man said, we've got a net, got the outlet there, I've got a broom, and I've got the handle for another great accessory which I would highly recommend, as does Mr. Everyday Man himself. God, got loads of mentions. Is this? Is the Intex hoover. Again, you just literally, once the hoover's done its thing, you go and pick it up from the sides. I've got the cover on it for what good that is. It does help warm it up. There you go. I'll just wind this up. But it also collects all the crap, which does make it easy to get actually. You can get it with a net when it comes off the end. So back to there's the hoover doing its thing. Back to the pump and chlorinator. So last year, when you buy this pool, it just comes with a normal pump, and I wanted the salt system, so we've got salt running in here, and so I bought the pump with the chlorinator on, which worked well last year. But the problem is, I had to keep coming out because I run a heater, and it loses so much heat because I live in the UK. I've been running the pump 24 hours a day, and obviously the timer for the chlorinator on the pump controls the pump as well, and so you had to keep coming and flicking it back onto filter pump every time, so I had to do that every day, or I lost loads of heat. So actually what I did was I bought for this year a separate chlorinator, so I could run the pump 24 hours a day, and then this was on a timer to take care of the chlorinator. Now I know that Everyday Man in his video said that he's had his one broke, and he's had issues with Intex trying to get hold of some bits and getting any customer service. I've got to give a massive shout out to Karen actually, Intex West. She's been brilliant. So poor girl. I've had a few things go. So the pump broke. They've sent me a new system, which is a new system. It's not like the old one, so that's why it slightly doesn't fit. And originally she sent me the pump without the electrolysis bit, the chlorinator bit, so it's been running on that, and then today this turned up, so we've got the new pump, and we've got the chlorinator, which I'm just going to leave there as a backup now. And actually this one, I think, I'm not sure, I've not had a proper play of it, but I think you can set the timer for the chlorinator, which you couldn't on the old one, so that is pretty much defunct, but I've got a spare. So if that does break down, like Everyday Man said, although I'm not worried about the customer services in the UK, I've got this as a backup to keep the pool nice and clean. So yeah, there's my pool. You can see it's pretty clean, even though we do get a bit of collection. Here you go in the corners. I'll go and get the pump, the vacuum, and we'll clean it up. Now, as I say, I live in the UK. Let me go around this way, it's probably easier. I live in the UK, so we are not blessed with the weather that Everyday Man is blessed with out in the States, and so we have to run one of these now. I'm running pretty hot. This is an inverter pump. We've got 30 degrees in there at the moment. We set it to 32.1 is going out, so we set it to 32. This actually normally is about 2 degrees hotter. It's set on smart, so maybe that's why it's not on full power, because it's close to its temperature. But since I've changed the pump, which is more powerful than the standard pump that comes with the pool, I've noticed that has dropped down to about 1.5 this afternoon, but that should be okay. And I think that's about it. So yeah, there's my Intex swimming pool. So do's and don'ts: don't put it in under a tree if you can, because that's a nightmare. Do put it up straight. Try and cut this if you're going to put one of these in, which I suggest you do because they're brilliant. Make sure you go in higher. Get one of the vacuums, get the lights, and yeah, get the hoover there as well. There we go. While it's doing its thing. Anyway, there we are.